Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Researcher Live, a webinar series dedicated to helping researchers stay up to date on the latest advancements in research, technology, and methods. I am very excited to have Gulsa Araman-Sailan, gastroenterology medical advisor at AbbVie with us today. This webinar will provide insight into how taking the plunge and stepping out of your comfort zone can benefit your career in pharma. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to be inspired. Let's welcome Gulsa. I do want to give people just another second here to see if they join. So if you want to go ahead and grab yourself that cup of coffee, or if it's already evening for you and you'd rather have another drink, feel free to go ahead. Okay. So my name is Julia Heason. I'm the Senior Growth Marketing Manager here at Research Solutions. And as you probably already can tell, I'll be the moderator for today. And a little bit about Research Solutions, the company behind Researcher Live. Research Solutions was founded in 2006, and we provide solutions that simplify and streamline how organizations discover, acquire, and manage scientific articles and data. More than 70% of the world's top pharmaceutical companies, emerging life science firms, and other R&D-driven companies rely on us for one-click access to scientific literature. I'm also excited to let you know that Research Solutions has recently acquired Resolute AI, an advanced search platform powered by artificial intelligence and natural language processing. If you want to learn more about that, you can head over to our website under press releases, read all about it, or of course, reach out to me after the webinar. Happy to give you more insight on that as well. Awesome. So a little bit about AbbVie.
This is the part where I'm jumping in. So I'm one of the 50,000 collaborators at AbbVie among like 70 countries, and with the indications, over 60 indications approved in more than 175 countries across more than 62 million of patients. So as you can see it as this is the AbbVie Global, but I am right now working for AbbVie French in the French affiliate, where we have 2 centers of R&D regulatory in Europe with Plunge and Ludwigshafen in Germany.
Awesome. So right with the topic of today's webinar, Gulsa and I, we wanted to kind of get to know all of you a little bit better. So I'll pull up a poll here, and we'd love for you to fill it out and just, see where you stand right now. So the question is, what challenges do you face when trying to step out of your comfort zone? Feel free to take as many options as applied to you, or if it's not mentioned here, you can also add it in the chat, and we'll love to read all about it. You know, for me, it's kind of all of them a little bit. Probably depends on the situation.
Yeah, I think they're all making really sense. I mean, like the uncertainty for some people, like they really try to calculate the risk, or sometimes like lack of knowledge, because if you are absolutely foreigner of this country, maybe they're like visa and formality. So for me, it's a little bit this kind of way.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, got quite a lot of votes here. Let's end the poll. Last chance, tick the box. And then let's look at the results here all together. Okay.
Fear of failure, also. And uncertainty.
Certainty, risk. Yeah. That is a big one. Fear of failure, lack of knowledge and skills. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for, letting us know how I feel about it. And now with that, Gulsa, handing over to you. Let's dive right in.
So today we're going to a little bit have a journey. So in our journey, we are going to talk about, of course, the basic needs of human nature. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then secondly, I will briefly mention about Ikigai. It's a little bit of philosophy in Japanese world where they have like the reason they get up in the morning. It's briefly like this. And then we're going to talk about a little bit fixed and the growth mindset, where the idea come from and how we can apply it in our routine, daily life. And also, of course, the illusory truth effects. So sometimes we really accept something that is not true, but because of this illusory truth effects, we are saying that like in winter we gain some weight, or like these are also a little bit, maybe they have a truth in them, but it's just like the illusory truth effects. So the status quo, aka the comfort zone, whether we have to challenge or not the challenge. And multitasking is a time saving and also is an efficient way to have much more performance, much higher performances, and also the reality versus dreams. I mean, there is a common misunderstanding saying that the reality is the opposite of our dreams, which is not true. So it's illusory truth effect. And also the self-career journey, where I'm going to talk to you about briefly about my journey, where was my comfort zone and how I did achieve my comfort zone. And I stepped up my comfort zone and I moved to France at the age of 35. So as I mentioned, we were starting with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. As you know, we have our physiological needs, the food, water, warmth, and the rest. And also secondly, the safety, where we had to be in an environment where we should really save. So really like the basic needs. So the physiological and the safety. And afterwards, we have also psychological needs that we really needed, love and belongings, and also our self-esteem. So the prestige and the feeling of accomplishments. We did some master theses and also PhDs in the scientific part. So we really wanted to achieve in order to feel accomplished. But as you may notice, at the top of this triangle, we have self-actualization. So achieving one's full potential, including the creative activities. So this is where it's get really important. This is the crucial part, the self-actualization. So it's really important to have this self-awareness in order to have this self-actualization. So as you can see it's really on top of this list, and for us it's really important to have achieving our full potential and including this creative activities in order to feel self-fulfilled. So what about the Ikigai? So this Ikigai is a Japanese concept for the reason of being. So as I mentioned earlier in the agenda, so here we have one of the most important countries, like in Japan, so Okinawa, and here the people have an average life onset in males like 89 years, and for the females it's like 90 years. So this is the average lifespan of these people. So they wanted to investigate what these people are doing, and this was the part that they noticed. So the notion of Ikigai. So this is why they get up in the morning. As you can see, the common part, so the people what they are good at, and also what they're having their needs, and they are doing what they love, and they are paid what they're good at, what they need, and what they love. So Ikigai is basically all of this, and to feel the fulfillment and the satisfaction comes within, the delight and the fullness, and also being comfortable. So this is what Ikigai means. I mean, the reason to get up in the morning, find your passion and to do it, and also what you can also be paid with what you need and what you are good at. So everyone is looking for their Ikigai, I think, in life. So you are going to see it, and hopefully, as human beings, we are able to have this what we call neuroplasticity. We could learn unlimitedly by creating the paths in our minds. So we previously knew that if we are learning to play an instrument after 13 or 14 years old, there won't be any developments, but thanks for the recent advance in science, we know that there are neuroplasticity and we can create new pathways. So we're going to just see a video about this, just a brief video, and I will be joining to
Not so long ago, many scientists believed that the brain did not change after childhood, that it was hardwired and fixed by the time we became adults. But recent advances in only the last decade now tell us that this is simply not true. The brain can and does change throughout our lives. It is adaptable, like plastic. Hence, neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. How does neuroplasticity work? If you think of your brain as a dynamic, connected power grid, there are billions of pathways or roads lighting up every time you think, feel, or do something. Some of these roads are well-traveled. These are our habits, our established ways of thinking, feeling, and doing. Every time we think in a certain way, practice a particular task, or feel a specific emotion, we strengthen this road. It becomes easier for our brains to travel this pathway. Say we think about something differently, learn a new task, or choose a different emotion. We start carving out a new road. If we keep traveling that road, our brains begin to use this pathway more, and this new way of thinking, feeling, or doing becomes second nature. The old pathway gets used less and weakens. This process of rewiring your brain by forming new connections and weakening old ones is neuroplasticity in action. The good news is that we all have the ability to learn and change by rewiring our brains. If you have ever changed a bad habit or thought about something differently, you have carved a new pathway in your brain and experienced neuroplasticity firsthand. With repeated and directed attention towards your desired change, you can rewire your brain.
So what's really important here, I love the word rewire the brain. So for the bad habits, we can really rewire the brain in order not to have those bad habits. And again, for the good habits, in order to like reinforce them. So what you saw, it wasn't just an action or a task. We also mentioned like emotions, different emotions. So when you think, also, you create neuroplasticity. When you feel something, you create also neuroplasticity. So it's not just limited to activities. This is why it's important, because we are going to see a little bit afterwards how the positive reinforcement could affect our also performance. So the idea of the growth mindset and fixed mindset a little bit came from after some research of Carol Dweck. So she is a psychologist who wanted to really work about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And in one of her lectures, she mentions about a not yet method in Chicago. So there is this high school. They wanted to see this growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So they really drastically changed the approaches. So in order to grade students, they started to having them this new approach, not yet approach. So there wasn't any like notes or grades, but there was this a limit that the professors also seen. So the students, by making efforts, they're trying to pass these courses, but not having any grades like 80s or 90s or A or B pluses, but they had like not yet. And they saw at this high school that they have more resilience and much more eager to work students after this method of not yet. So this is why Carol Dweck, she started also in depth in order to show this growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So what is this fixed mindset and the growth mindset? So in the fixed mindset, we avoid challenges. So we are a little bit shy from things that we don't know, because we are in the comfort zone and we are unable to handle criticism or feedback. We have it a little bit personal when somebody says something like this, or maybe a suggestion in order to improve the work. We took it a little bit where we couldn't handle it really well. And the intelligence and talent for them is static and does not develop post-birth. So basically you were born with our abilities. So you may heard of people saying that I'm not a math person, I'm not good at math, or saying that I have an artistic way, so I'm not really good at numbers. But it's not true. As you can see in the neuroplasticity, our brains can grow and can learn really amazing stuff. And also in the fixed mindset, we don't carry out any actions without seeking approvals. These people a little bit all the time, like after doing a work, they were like, Did you like it? They ask from all the time approvals from their managers. Did you like it? They really need this reassurance and also the approval. I'm sure that you guys really seeing this kind of managers that we are going to also talk in the next slide. And they focused on proving themselves. So they're not seeing as a team, they're only focused on proving themselves. And they're threatened by the success of others. So we also saw this kind of people with fixed mindset. They're saying like they're threatened by the success of other people. And for them, the effort is not regarded as fruitful. So effort is something that you needed. You have to make so much effort, and but this is what you have to do it, and they accept this like this. And also understanding the failure as the limit of ability. And finally, they give up really easily because they, for them, they have a fixed mindset and they cannot, whether they can do it, they just stopped it immediately. So basically, a growth mindset is a little bit exactly the opposite of the fixed mindset. They view challenges as an opportunity, so they don't like accept this as a threat. So they really see it as an opportunity, and they acknowledge and embrace their weaknesses. They're saying that, okay, I'm not good at this, but I can learn. I can like really make much more effort in order for me to learn, or ask for another colleague of ours that he has a strength part, and then just do it as a teamwork. And learn to give and receive constructive criticism is one of the important qualities for the growth mindset. They really learn to give and receive constructive criticism. They didn't take it personally because they know that this will improve their performance. Intelligence and talent is a dynamic, and every improvement qualities for them. They prioritize learning over seeking approval. So for them, the learning is in the center, and they don't seek for approvals. The job come afterwards, but they really put in the center of learning and focus on the process instead of the end results. They really learn in the process. They really overcome barriers by learning the processes, and for them the results is not that crucial. And they are inspired by the success of others. Of course, you've seen all of these leaders that they're probably really inspired by the success of others. So this is one of the importance also of being a leader. And they think of learning as a brain training because they know it, that they have neuroplasticity and they have unlimited sources to learn. And they understand the failure as an opportunity to grow, and they persist in the face of the setbacks. So I just wanted to have this analogy because the notion of leadership in the 21st century is a little bit shifted, because what we knew as previously as the managers, they had this fixed mindset. They believe in the status quo, they focus on the efficacy, and they lead with authority. So you also has to like all the time have their approval, because they also need the approval of their managers, and they know it all, and they know that they're the main person who decides. So as you know, there are lots of surveys right now in the companies, and the questions are coming also from this type of thinking, because we wanted to challenge the status quo in order to learn and to grow. So this is why in the surveys of the corporate surveys, they ask these questions, because there is a shift, there is a mind shift in the leadership in the 21st century. So the leaders has much more a growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. So as you can see it, like where I defined you, the growth mindset, you can see it in the leaders. They believe in experimentation, they develop people, they have a growth mindset. So one of the crucial qualities that I mentioned, having a growth mindset as a leader, and they learn it all. They're like a sponge, like really wanted to have the learning processes, and also they're doing the coaching. They're not like managing, but they're doing the coaching. So mentorship, the coaching programs is one of the important also during this mind shift in the leadership. So just a little visualization for the fixed and the growth mindset.
Researcher and Professor Carol Dweck uses the term mindset to describe the way people think about ability and talent. Dweck delineates between two different mindsets that exist on a continuum. The first is the fixed mindset, which suggests that your abilities are innate and unchangeable. The second is a growth mindset, which views it as something you can improve through practice. In a fixed mindset, you view failure as permanent, but with a growth mindset, you see failure as a chance to learn and even pivot. Those with a fixed mindset are more likely to view critical feedback as a personal attack, while those with a growth mindset will see it as a chance to improve, where they can develop new systems. With a fixed mindset, you're more likely to choose easier tasks and put in minimal effort. After all, if talent is fixed, why bother improving? I even try. But with a growth mindset, you're more likely to embrace challenging tasks and work hard to improve. Those with a fixed mindset are likely to give up when they face an obstacle. Meanwhile, those with a growth mindset will view obstacles as a chance to experiment and solve problems. In a fixed mindset, the focus is on measurable accomplishments. But with a growth mindset, the focus is more on a journey of continual improvement. With a fixed mindset, you're less likely to take creative risks. But with a growth mindset, creative risks are simply a way to innovate and improve. Ultimately, your mindset influences everything from creative risk taking to how you view feedback to whether or not you finish difficult tasks. And in the end, it's one of the greatest factors in determining whether or not you grow and improve in your abilities.
So this was a little bit to sum up the fixed and the growth mindset, as you can see it. So it was also one of yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. We just got a question, but I feel like fits perfectly to that, if you wouldn't mind. So the question from the audience is it possible for someone to have features from both the growth mindset and the fixed mindset?
Yes, it's absolutely possible. I mean, maybe for quitting smoking, you have a fixed mindset. But for playing an instrument, we could have a growth mindset. But I think it's just also an issue about the self-awareness, because we know that we are having this fixed mindset or on for example, the quitting smoking. So you could have like, oh, my father was a smoker, it's in my genetics. So you can believe yourself. I mean, you can make believe yourself that you have a fixed mindset. But when actually you realize that you are having this fixed mindset, it's up to you, that we are going in my next slides, that stepping out of this comfort zone. Because who says like a comfort zone saying this fixed mindset? So find a place where you have the comfort zone and try to just stepping out of it. But you can of course have both mindset in one person. Depending on the situations. But I really advise, I'm trying to do it for like almost a decade and trying to have this growth mindset. I learned to ride a bike when I was 21 years old. So all the time trying, because I really believe that I'm not really good at like riding bicycles. I couldn't do it. I had this fixed mindset, and I was saying like, maybe one day if I will need it. I was creating excuses. It's one of the also fixed mindsets, create excuses. And I was creating excuses. I don't need it. But there had this time, I actually realized that I need to learn how to ride a bike. And then I stepped up my comfort zone at 21. So you can have both.
Thank you.
So as we are researchers, I wanted to share just one study. It wasn't like a really gigantic study, but they did it in order to see, because we wanted to also have some proofs in order to make it much more concrete. So this mindset induction effects on cognitive control. So how can we see it? If one person has a growth mindset and fixed mindset, whether or not it's affected by their ability to understand, to learn. And just for this 44 participant of study, they looked a little bit, one of the groups, they read in the fixed mindset, they read that the statements that they have a fixed genetics and they cannot grow with any other capacities. And for the growth mindset, this they just read what I just explained to you. They read statements about how human brain can develop thanks to neuroplasticity. And even at the end of this study, they see it like before the part that they have the implicit theory of intelligence scores, and after in the post-induction part, as you can see it, this one in the highlighted in bold, you can see that the growth mindset had a significant differences in understanding the tasks. So in the theory of intelligence scale scores, according to a validated score, they did it much better than the fixed mindset. Even just having this little reading statements improved their learning ability. Their really learners much better with the growth mindset. So, but you can ask me, I mean, are we going to have positive reinforcement all the time? How can we do it? I mean, there isn't any application for that, of course, but there are ways to do it. So as we mentioned about the status quo, so the comfort zone, the famous comfort zone. So one of the illusory truth effects that the comfort zone is good, that the status quo is good, because previously we knew that what we had accomplished with a result, so we are going to have the same methodology. But right now, as I mentioned, there is this mind shift change. So now we have to really step out the comfort zone where we feel safe and controlled. But as I mentioned earlier in the Maslow hierarchy of pyramid needs, so you can see it like for us, the security is really important. And this is what the comfort zone signifies. So we feel safe and we are in control. But in the fear zone, when we are going to step out in the fear zone, we are affected by others' opinion. So we can have an example like starting the gym. If we are like, we gain some weight and we wanted to go to the gym, but our comfort zone is our couch where we are going to like have ice creams, where we are going to feel safe. But we know that deep down we wanted to like lose weight for our health, or other reason as you wish. And we find excuses saying that, oh, it's maybe too expensive, the gym, or you don't want it to like have all the time gym clothes, or other people saying that, oh, you can do it at, by yourself, don't go to the gym, it's like a money trap. And we started a little bit lack of self-confidence. But if we really insist about going to the gym because we have like a target, and here comes after the fear zone, the learning zone, where we deal with the challenges and problems. So we acquire new skills. We try to like develop our triceps or biceps, or I don't know where you wanted to have your losing the weight areas. And we acquire new skills by going to the gym, by having our inner core muscles studies, and we really acquire new skills. And maybe we meet with people that are more eager with our age periods, and then we go out with them in the forest and so on. So this is add much more activities. So we really enlighten and enlarge our zones, comfort zone. So this is why we are extending the comfort zone. So we are, by stepping out the comfort zone, we are extending also the comfort zone. And finally, the growth zone. So we maybe you are going to join to a triathlon after your gym, or maybe you just wanted to breathe a little bit and quit smoking and so on. So it depends on your target. And you started to having much more energy, and you really feel much better. So it's just like an example. You could find your own comfort zone. This is where you are not really happy and you wanted to like a little bit change the situation. And finally, you realize, of course, aspirations, and you started to set new goals. If your goal was to just have core muscles, maybe you changed it having much more inner strength, or started to do yoga because you have muscle depth enough, and so on and so forth. So it's up to you, really. You can challenge the status quo. So the illusory truth effect is you can challenge the status quo, but it's good to challenge the status quo. So how are we going to increase the attention? Because we know it in the comfort zone, we started maybe to have much less attention. So what we know it from 1908, Yerkes and Dodson law. So if we have much less stress, we will have much less increase of attention. But if we have a little bit, this is what they call arousal, but it could also have anxiety. So where we also know it from adrenaline and so on before exams, in the students, they get to like remember much more. They have this optimum level of anxiety, they do it better because we need also attention, because of that, as human, we had some needs. We already talked about this. In order to feel also self-fulfilled, we also need to feel efficient in our works, in our daily jobs, and also in our family life. So this is why we need to find the optimum level of anxiety, arousal, or level of stress, you can name it, what you want it. But in order to have high performance, we need to really have this attention that we wanted to create. But how are we going to create this attention? So there is just a little video I'm going to just briefly talk to you about. In the first part, you are going to see a female volunteer, and they're going to make some free throws. And this woman had never scored when they did this practice. And then they get blindfolded. And for the first part, the woman get all the time cheering, positive reactions. And you are going to see this person who couldn't even do one free throw. Afterwards, we're going to do 5 free throws. And afterwards, they're going to choose a good athlete who did 9 out of 10 free throws, but you're going to see with the negative inputs what he's going to do.
A moment ago, we made this volunteer believe she sunk a pair of blindfolded free throws, when earlier, with no blindfold, she missed 10 in a row. How will she do her second time at the line, now that she thinks she nailed those blindfolded buckets?
Oh, close.
So you are seeing like this
So
positive
close.
reinforcement.
Close. That's number 1. All right.
And
Keep
when she
going.
was
Keep
blindfolded,
going.
she get also positive reinforcement
Oh.
from the audience.
She's definitely getting closer, but no baskets yet.
You got this. You got this. You got this.
So she again gets all the time this positive reinforcement. And as I mentioned to you, she had 0 free throws before the blindfold.
Oh, oh.
Wow. By making her think she sank those blindfolded shots, and by cheering and giving her positive reinforcement, it's almost like we hacked her self-confidence, got her to believe more in her natural abilities.
Or she maybe rewired herself.
In fact, out of 10 shots this time around, she ended up making 4. Quite an improvement. But what
We
if
saw
one of
the
our
positive
volunteers was
reinforcement. So what
already
about
good
the
at
negative
basketball?
reinforcements? And
Ooh,
don't forget,
this guy's got game.
neuroplasticity also
He can
had
block 9 shots from the line.
emotions, not just actions.
Think there's anything we could do to make him worse?
Okay. So let's have you take 1 shot.
And he had 9
Alright.
out of 10 free throws earlier.
Think you can do it, guys? All right, Josh, let's give it a shot. 3, 2.
So he's
One.
feeling less confident in himself, even blindfolded because of
Not
the,
Quite.
we don't
not
know what's
quite,
going
but
to
it's all right.
happen.
Just let him
The
try a second
uncertainty.
time. A tough one. All right. Wow. Give it a shot, Josh. All right.
You were saying
Alright, well,
even
look,
from
the
his
man- the man is
physics, from
blind,
his
okay.
behaviors,
Let's go
that
ahead
his
and take
shoulders
off
a little
the
bit
blindfold.
down.
So listen.
He
it
also
wasn't as
started
easy
to
as we
think
thought, but
also
let's have you do
negative
your 10
reinforcements.
throws again without the blindfold. Okay. Just do your thing. 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10. Okay. All right, let's see. You guys got his A game on? Come on, Josh. Whoa. All right, Josh. Got this, man. You got this.
So you were saying the audience is starting to booing.
All right, that's 2.
And he missed it again. So he
This guy
did
made
9
9
out
free
of
throws
10.
early. But now it looks like the crowd's negative reinforcement is throwing him off his game.
And he misses the rest of of his free throws. So this is really showing us, I'm not saying like we have to be like positive human beings all the time, but even like thinking about it, and even the random strangers that you don't know, like trying to have this negative opinions about you could affect your mood. And this is what we saw also in the fixed mindset, having really affected by others' opinions. So this is really important. In order to be self-aware, you have to be self-aware. So this is why also you have to find your fixed mindset points. That's where is your comfort zone? Why this is bothering you, or deep down, do you know that you have to change something? This is the crucial part. So one of the study in the Harvard that I put it in, a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. So this study in the Harvard investigated among 2,500 students, but it was really a basic study where the psychologists wanted really to see when a student wanted to do something and where his mind is a little bit like going away. So it was really like they're asking what they're doing at the time and if their minds was wandering or not. It's not like a scientific study, but it's just like on the behavior. So they wanted to see if a student, when they have focused on something, whether they get affected, their minds were wandering or not. And in the end, they found it like 47% of them, they were not doing this monotasking. So they are doing multitasking, and this was reduced in 47% in their performance. So they're not focusing on that activity, whether also their minds was wandering, and they're not focusing at all on the other things. So I was a huge ancient believer of the multitasking. So I was really thinking that it was really efficient, but you can really trust me on saying that monotasking is the efficient way, because we are built in our physiognomical and physiological way. We are made as multitasking persons. So there's also a little study among 18 participants. There are also students between the ages of 18 and 22. So here what you are seeing, so they had three animated movies coming from Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and 007. So what they did, they showed to the students whether they had consecutive sequences like 6 minutes and versus 50 seconds of coming from the same movie segmentations, but they were interleaved. So, but they're also consecutive as their temporal part. I mean, if we had 8 sequences, they were starting from 1 to 8, but they were interleaved with 80 seconds. So what they observed here, they observed that in the consecutive part, I mean, where you have non-interrupted part, they saw it in the MRI that they had much more stimuli in the consecutive part, and also in the speech and learning, like paying more attention, they had much more stimuli in the consecutive part. I mean, it's just like a basic study, but it's enough for us to say that we were made for the monotasking as in our brains. So let's see how are we doing in the monotasking. So I will just open this video and I will ask you to count how many people in the white shirts made passes. How many passes were made from the white t-shirt people?
This is an awareness test.
Just
How many
count
passes does the team in white make?
the white.
Go!
Okay, so I will just give maybe 20 seconds if for the audience. Did you be able to count it, or you were like totally disrupted?
I counted like 14 and I did open the chat. So if you counted it, you can, yeah, just let us know in the chat how many you catched.
We have one, I think, one comment.
Yeah, in the Q&A, I see someone saying 11, another person saying 13. What did I just say? Was that
14, you said 14, yeah.
okay?
13 was the right answer though, but did you see the moon
answer
walking
is
bear?
But did you see the moonwalking bear?
There was a moonwalking bear in the middle of the video that you are going to see it. Like there's this guy who comes in, look like a moonwalking bear in the middle of the audience.
Did not see that.
Yeah. So this is this a little bit, this is just like a little video that shows us also when we are looking at something that we are really made of monotasking. So there is this book, I found this video from a book that I found, The Invisible Gorilla. So I highly advise you to read it. Because this also taught me that when you were driving, I always thought that when we are on hands-free, we could really speak with whomever we wanted, and our attention would not be disrupted. But this also would show us that it's not correct. So even when you were on hands-free, even when you were on Bluetooth in your car, your attention get lesser and lesser. So even when you're not holding your phone. So as we can see, we saw it, the illusory truth effect of the comfort zone, and also monotasking is really, really efficient, and we were made, our brains also made for the monotasking. And the third illusory truth effect is the reality is the opposite of your dreams. I mean, here the dreams a little bit more like goals. So they're not like dreams if you wanted to became a mayor of somewhere. This is also a dream, also a goal. So you see it as a goal. Here is the dreams, but it's not the opposite. So it's just like we have to find this link in order for us to achieve our dreams. We saw it in the comfort zone definition, and afterwards where we are going to achieve our dreams by stepping out of a little bit and having in the final zone. So I saw this art. This is from Joseph Klibanski. He made lots of he showed his piece in the different parts of Europe, and it was named Self-Portrait of a Dreamer. I really loved this saying, because I think we also as an exercise try to have a portrait of a dreamer. How do you see yourself? Like when we have in our HR interviews, or when you are having a job interview, they ask you where you are going to see yourself in 5 years or 10 years, but how do you see yourself as a dreamer? If you don't have your barriers, if you don't have your limitations, how would you define yourself, or how would you draw yourself? So this was one of the pieces that I would draw, definitely, but today I wanted to also tell you about my journey. So I really love, when I was little, I loved science, and I knew that I would be a person of science one day. So I really curious. So, and we know that the steps of scientific methodology is first we make an observation. And then we ask a question, like when we were little, or where did we come from, the basic question, but we really, out of our curiosity, starting to build our knowledge, our foundation. And then we test our hypothesis and gather data. And we also examine test results and form, of course, a conclusion, and we report findings. And of course, if our conclusion is really robust, it can even become a theory or a law, like the Newton's law. So I went to St. Joseph High School. So I'm Turkish originally, and I went to Istanbul University Pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmacy, and over there I founded an entrepreneurship club, because I really wanted to have this knowledge as a student? How can we, like, in entrepreneurs, how could we like even save the world? We had this kind of ambitions when we were in the university. So I also, with my family, built a cosmetology firm, I think cosmetic firm, and you're going to see in my next slides. And I think as an intern, as the pharmacy students, we have this great opportunity to be able to have experience internships. So I did, as I mentioned to you, steps, I took my life and my career as the steps of a scientific methodology. So I did all the internship that a pharmacy student can do. So as MSD, I did my marketing internship, and by the time in Turkey that we had Actavis as a company, and in Actavis I did my medical internship, and also in the Sandoz I did my regulatory affairs internship, and also I learned really in depth and started also working internship in the pharmacy, of course, and I decided it was the medical department that got my attention at most, so I wanted to go over there. But as a brief part, the entrepreneurship in mind, so we wanted to, with my family, really have this cosmetic firm, and then I had a prize with this, the youngest entrepreneurship in the pharma industry over that year, I mean, when we did the company. And then we had good success, and we sold our company to 2 dermatologists in Italy, so they're now having their products in Italy. I put this Life is Too Short book because I think this is what I said, you have to know yourself. So I didn't want to be this person who wanted to like have this company at this young age and to like do entrepreneurship. I wanted to do some research. So I really wanted to go and work in the pharmaceutical company, and to be able to really have much more indications, to be able to reach out to more patients in order for them to be in the center of our work. So this is why self-awareness is really important. And I started working at AbbVie, that I mentioned you earlier, in a global level. So what we did at AbbVie, we made lots of formations. I joined as a trainer of a program that we launched in Paris. From across all over the world, I train medical advisor, medical directors about a new approach that we implemented earlier that year. And also I presented during a pharmacovigilance congresses. So the immunogenicity was an important topic, and AbbVie doesn't have any biosimilars, but it was during this congresses, they wanted us to also present some data. And this is why I presented the immunogenicity in general in immune-mediated inflammatory diseases. So it was really a good experience from my point of view. As you can see, I had different hats. And then I was a medical manager and also biotherapeutics medical lead. So we presented during that time, before COVID, we presented a live webinar that I moderated and presented, because we couldn't due to the differences in Europe, that we couldn't have lots of HCPs, healthcare professionals, going to the congresses. So I wanted to disseminate the data earliest as possible, so we get all the final validations and I could be able to present the data to the healthcare professionals. But as you can see it, I was doing this for a couple of years, and I was a little bit in my comfort zone. So I was really good giving lectures. But I was doing a little bit in my routine. So I was, this is when I said I have to step out of my comfort zone. So this is when you have the status quo, or you name it, like the comfort zone. So you are in the comfort zone when you are having this more than 1 or 2 years, or it could be also in 6 months. It depends on the person, but I was in my comfort zone and I wanted to learn new things and I wanted to really develop my skills on abroad. So this is why we decided so I present you as an expat. This is a person who lives outside their native country. So as I mentioned, I'm a Turkish, and right now I'm living in France for 2 years. So the idea came from, I knew that I was in my comfort zone. So with my manager, we had to come up with in my performance plan, having a mentorship. So what we said, this is really important to have mentorships or leaders who is guiding you. So in my performance plan, we had one people from the global team who knew my ambitions, and with them we had regular sessions. So it's not like in one day that happened, but it was, as I mentioned, stepping out the comfort zone. It's a whole process. But as the growth mindset people, we love the process. So this is why we started this journey approximately like 4 years ago, and we built this journey. We built this in my performance plan. So it was like step by step. This is really important. So the process takes time, but it's really important. So I really advise you to really build a good foundation, what you want, what is your ambition, and don't think about the barriers, don't think about the challenges, don't think about really focus on your ambition and what you wanted to do. So this is what I did. And so this is what I can say. I carved a way for the continuation. So I step out of my comfort zone, like choose a place where is not my mother language, so, and also not English. So I really wanted to able to learn and grow in this professional area. So in my fifth month, I presented a best practice in Vienna. So just right after I came in the French affiliate. So even like 5 months later, you can even see like your growth, your potential, and how I again started like thinking out of the box. And also I started giving in a 2-semester mentorship to the pharmacy students. And finally, I will be finishing my PhD next year. So as you can see, I'm carving the way for the continuation, for the growth, for the developments. But you have to really be precise about your goals and how you are going to achieve, and with which people or with which tools you are going to achieve it. So I really thank you for listening, and never afraid of challenging the status quo. So as you can see, this is me fighting the gravity. So if you come across in Paris, you could do this zero gravity in a tube, and I highly recommend it to you. So thanks a lot for listening.
Thank you so much, Golsa. And if I come to Paris, I will definitely go do that. That looks so much fun. Yeah, well, thank you. Wow, that was, yeah, so much great insight and interesting videos and kind of like thoughts to process. Hey everyone, before we dive into Q&A, so if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the Q&A part down in Zoom below right now. We'll answer them just in a second here. If you aren't customers of Research Solutions yet, you don't really know who we are, but you're looking to access journal articles and book chapters quickly and cost effectively, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead and request a free trial with our product Article Galaxy. We'll show you how you can get up to 28% off article spend and 86% off articles delivered within seconds. And we're also currently experimenting with ChatGPT for use within Article Galaxy as a beta version of it. If you want to be part of that beta version, reach out under the same link that you can see there. It's researchsolutions.com/sales. Ask us about that ChatGPT function, and we'd be happy to help you out and add you to it. Okay, so questions here. Let me see what we've got. Well, first of all, got a comment. Thank you so much for this inspirational presentation. Couldn't agree more. Thanks for those words. And then I see a question here come in. The question is, what advice would you give other professionals considering to move abroad for career advancement?
I think, as I mentioned, it's really important that in order to achieve the goals, what are the tools? I mean, there won't be any timing. Don't wait for a timing. There isn't like, this is my opinion, of course, this is my personal opinions, but there won't be any ideal timing. It really depends on you. But and also I don't have any children, but one of my closest friends also moved to France, and he has 2 children. So children's wives, spouses, partners. Also, I think we need to have a good communications with them. So because also it's going to affect them. But as I mentioned, so this is your self-awareness journey. And if you want to do this, and if you wanted to achieve this, you need to be able to speak it with your partner, of course. So these would be the things that I should mention. But I think sky is the limit. There isn't any limit about this.
Awesome. Yes. Actually, I should have mentioned at the beginning, I'm from Germany and I moved abroad to Mexico. So actually 2 expats on a call here right now.
Yes.
And just like to add just like a little comment on that specific question as well. I know if that happened to you girls as well, but sometimes when thinking about moving abroad, it seems like you don't even know where to start. But when
Yes.
you kind of start, even researching Facebook groups, get to know people that did the same, there's like so many people that really enjoy helping and giving their advice. And then suddenly, once you take that first step, everything else seems like so much easier. I don't know if you've experienced that as well.
Yes, we had a great relocation team too as well. So I'm really thankful to that. And this is why for my husband, they had like this coaching program. I really love this idea. She just showed him the links and the cultures, because I also lived in France earlier and I knew the culture, but he really didn't know the culture at all. So he had never experienced about the French culture, but he's a chef, and so this is why I think he knew a little bit about the culture, but they were really helpful about this. And also like living somewhere is really different than having a touristic like visit. So I really suggest you to know like the meteorology, the weather, and so on. So I really love rainy days and so on. So it's not affected my mood at all. But there are people who really wanted to have sunny and warm places, and I also suggest to look it up really how the weather is like and so on. It's also important. And also like the formalities and bureaucratical papers, like if you are in a country, because I'm from Turkey, the Turkey doesn't consist on a part in the European part. So this is why I had some more paperwork, but it wasn't a limitation or barrier for my company. So it's also important to know that.
Yes, amazing. Great question. Looks like that was, the last one I saw come in. Of course, if you have any additional questions that come up later, feel free to reach out to Gulsa or myself. You can hit reply to the email, search for us on LinkedIn. We're there, and we'd be happy to help. And thank you so much, Gulsa, yet again for sharing all that advice with us. Such a great webinar. And thanks everyone for joining us live. Have a great and inspiring rest of your day or evening.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of
Have
course.
a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.